State health officials say 1 out of every 4 adults in North Dakota received mental health services last year. But care is not always accessible. Lindsay Miller reports from Rolette on how they're bringing a resource close to home.
There's a new option for behavioral health services in Rolette, thanks to Jaslyn Bates. She's the first ever psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner at the Northland Health Clinic.
They have not had a mental health provider here at the Rolette location since they opened in 2003.
Jaslyn is from the area and says it means a lot to come back after her schooling to offer vital mental health resources.
People in rural communities and farmers are at a higher risk for suicide, unfortunately, so providing those services in person is so important.
She explains the clinic previously offered telehealth options through providers in Turtle Lake and Minot.
110/68.
Team member Brendan Berquist says Northland aims to provide affordable care close to home at their 8 different locations. He says Jaslyn is helping make that a reality.
Is an option that they don't have to go hours and hours to see someone.
Northland offers medical, dental, and behavioral health services. However, Brendan says only 3 locations, including Rolette, offer all 3.
It really opens up the door to providing more services and getting more reach out into our communities.
Jaslyn typically holds 90-minute sessions with clients that involve medical history review, patient conversation, medicine management, and more. She says frequency of visits with patients depends on needs. Bringing more mental health care access to rural North Dakota. In Rolette, I'm Lindsay Miller, reporting for your News Leader.
The paperwork and medications that were seen in this story are examples, and they don't show real patient information. Now, Jaslyn says she hopes to expand her clientele to younger kids down the road. To book a service with her or the Northland Health Center's team, look for this story on our website.